Hey guys, welcome to Monkeys Pro Wrestling. Okay, I made this video and I'm starting over because it turned into a 30-minute marathon. Okay, I started watching wrestling approximately almost 46 years ago. I was 6 years old. First match that I remember was David Von Erich versus Ric Flair for the title, the Texas Championship. And in 1980. Sorry, I'm trying to fix that. There we go. This channel's been my dream for a long time. I used to use my JVC VHS-C. It means VHS compact. And it's a small cassette that goes, you open the door on this thing that looks like a hollowed out VHS tape. You put that in it. When you close the door, if you have, I had the all metal one that had, you put batteries in it and it would automatically stretch it and make it a VHS. I also had the non-automatic one, which I never used. It came with both. I liked the automatic one. It was heavy. It was all metal. And it did it itself. Now, that caused those tapes to deteriorate more quickly because it stretched and then back to normal and then stretched. And yeah, they didn't last, unfortunately, because I had several Christmases on there. I had a family vacation on there. Was it big? Yeah. The battery was almost the size of this entire camera. Well, yeah, probably pretty close. Not as wide this way, but as long, back to front. But fat was, and it clipped on the back. Now I could plug it in and use it, but I had two batteries, so I kept one on the charger and used the other one. So, and it lasted quite a while. I did so many videos. And I did a lot of wrestling videos, videos of like me doing wrestling news, me looking at the newsletters and doing stuff, and just had a lot of fun. I wrote biographies of all my favorite wrestlers and I read them. I just had so much fun. I even had Doug doing them with me. We called it Wrestle Talk. But unfortunately, and I used to, before that, I used to record it onto audio cassettes. We Wrestle Talk Radio. Or when I was a little kid and I was recording on audio cassettes, it would be, I would pretend I was a country music DJ. It's channel 88 because it's like the first channel at the end of the thing, and it's never a real channel, so I would just use that. And I would pretend that the antenna was the microphone. I'm sure my parents got tired of listening to it, but they never complained. And my mother would encourage me, use your imagination, record stories. And I did, on the cassette tapes before I got my camcorder, which I was so excited about. I did so much with it. Like I said, I got like 5 Christmases. I had a vacation. Unfortunately, those uh, they broke down, and I tried to look at them, and they were gone. I had to throw them away. It was devastating. I'm sure someone could have salvaged them, but I didn't have the money nor the any idea. Not any idea. Okay, I didn't have any idea how that would be, how to get that done. And of course, I had no money, so they got tossed. I would love to find one of those again, just to fool around with it, you know, just to practice these videos and stuff like that, to have fun. And I could set it to make a longer video. You know what I mean? It's just like on your VCR, you can set it EP, SP, LP, ELP. Now I know your heads are probably spinning if you're a young person. What in the blazes is she talking about? Well, it was important when you were recording wrestling, because it's over 3 hours, that you have your VCR settings correct. Otherwise, it will stop recording. You need it on ELP, which is extra long play. LP means long play. And EP means extended play, which is the shortest play. You'll get like 2 hours on a cassette doing it that way. LP, you'll get a little bit longer. ELP, extra long play, you'll get enough to record the whole pay-per-view, which is going to be just a little over, well, the whole pay-per-view is a little over 3 hours. We have both forgotten to set them correctly and set them at LP and just barely got it. Or EP and had to change the tape in the middle because it filled the tape. Basically what happens is it moves the tape faster and fills more tape with less footage, if that makes sense. So you do the same thing on the VHS-C. You set it so that it moves the tape slower and fills less tape with more information, if that makes sense. I had like 4 or 5 of the tapes. I had so much fun with that. Like I said, I want that again because I just enjoyed doing it. You know, I enjoyed, like I said, I could practice on it. I can't put that on my computer, obviously, but you can hook it up to your TV. Well, not anymore, but well, you could. I have a thing that adapts AV cables. So I used to just plug the AV cables into my TV, you know. And I used to record myself commentating. I would mute the commentating on a match and record myself commentating it, which was a trick I learned from Jim Ross, actually. Good old JR said that's one thing, mute it and commentate it yourself. One way to practice, you know, commentary. So I would do that. I have a couple of videos on here of me doing that in my playlist that came from Punky's World that I saved on this channel, because I was saving video by video. I'm like, I am going to be here for 3 years doing this. Why don't I just save the whole playlist to the channel? So, because I was trying to save them in the playlist they belonged in on this channel, and no, I just saved the Punky's World Wrestling playlist instead of trying to save them to the individual playlists to which they belong on this channel, which would have taken me a year. So I have that channel. Some of them are saved to playlists as well, but majority of them are going to be in the Punky's World playlist. The pro wrestling playlist from Punky's World that's saved on this channel. So do check them out. I will put one at the end um, of me doing commentary. You can see some of the things I used to do back on the VHS-C that I actually did do on the camera, on the modern camera. He went from a cassette to a little card. It's amazing to watch technology move. I remember it was the greatest thing in the world when my mother could go in a little door on the VCR and set it to record from 6 to 8 or 6:05 to 8:05. And I didn't have to just press record and fast forward through a stupid movie before I got to wrestling when we would go out on a Saturday night. My later VCR didn't actually have a program, unfortunately. So if I was recording SmackDown or something, and wouldn't you know it, I'd go to the track. Friday Night SmackDown would be playing on the TV at the food place or something, and like, I don't want to watch this. I'm recording this at home. So, and I could fast forward through the crap I didn't want to watch, which I like. Oh no, actually, then we didn't use the VCR. We used the DVR. I used the DVR in my bedroom to record it. It was nice because if you wanted to watch something, you could record something else. Because you're like, I've got a conflict. I want to watch that, but I want to watch that. Well, choose which one you're going to watch and which one you're going to record. So, back in the day, you would miss one unless you had a VCR. But even then, you couldn't record a VCR on another channel. You could, if you had a separate TV and you had a VCR hooked up, could record it that way. But most people only had one TV back then. So, and I remember they used to have the midnight Friday night show. And I would go to youth group, not Bible study. Bible study was on Wednesdays. And on Friday nights, and then I would come home and I would wait for wrestling to come on. And I'd be falling asleep. I did not go to bed until it was over. So, and my parents used to record WCW for me, which was NWA, Jim Crockett Promotions at the time when I was a kid, because it would come on late at night in syndication. So they would record it for me, and I would watch it on Saturday. After I watch my WWF stuff, I would watch it on Saturday morning. And yeah, wrestling was mine and my dad's thing. My mom would come sometimes. Most of the time, if we went live. The last time, she only didn't come because we only had 2 tickets. My friend, one of my girlfriends, her friend had won, her cousin, sorry, had won them on a radio contest, like a call-in thing. And he said to her, he said, I'm not going to be able to go. Do you know someone? She said, oh, I sure do. And she brought him to me. Well, she told me she had something for me. So I went and waited out on the porch. It was middle of summer. And she brought them to me. And I looked at them. I said, "Do you know what this is?" She said, "Well, yeah, it's wrestling." I said, "It's SmackDown. It's the draft." Which, if you're watching this channel, you know what that is. You know? And I ran inside. I'm like, "Daddy, Daddy." And my mother's like, "What? You know?" And at first she was kind of hurt. I said, "Mom, I wish I had another ticket, but I really want to go." She did let us go. And I mean, it was so nice of her to give them to me. She said, "Your father can't drive in the city." And my friend, Kelly, said, "I will drive them in and I will pick them up. You don't have to worry about them." She did. She drove us in and she picked us up. And I wanted to wear my skirt, but yeah, they decided that wasn't the best idea. I've worn a miniskirt to wrestling before, but anyway. I was devastated because AJ Styles didn't turn out to wrestle. He was at ringside, but he did not wrestle. He was supposed to wrestle, and then they changed it to one of the other members of the OC, original club. And so, yeah. So that was devastating. I went in the bathroom and cried. I got to see Jericho wrestle, so that was good. This was July of 2016. And I got to see the draft live, which was awesome. And it was great because Dad and I Dad and I started watching it regularly together. We would curl up on the couch together and and, and watch. And he was trying to get back into it and figure out who everybody was. I was teaching him, but he became ill in October of that year, passed away in April of the following year. 6 months after he got sick. And he got sick 3 months after that event. He was sick then, but mostly he had dementia, which was from heart disease, so it was vascular uh, dementia. And we just didn't know that at the time. We knew he had dementia, but you know, he was in the early stages of dementia. There was no question about that. Which is why my mother wanted me to hold his hand. And he got pushed straight out the door, and I'm in a panic. My mother's going to kill me. So I picked up my cell phone. "Daddy, where are you?" "I'm right outside the door. I got pushed out. I'm not going anywhere." "Yeah, don't. Mom will have my head." And I got out the door. I grabbed his hand. And we walked where we were going to meet Kelly. And we met Maru coming out. He was in his limo. He stopped his limo, rolled down his window, and spoke with us. Dad said, "Who was that?" I said, "That was the commentator. He's awesome." And Marunello. And so that was pretty neat because he stopped his limo, rolled down his window, and talked to us. So then I got a shirt that night. And you know, I've been fortunate enough at the time, I was friends with AJ Styles' wife, but she now is on a private page with Christopher Daniels' wife. And I think there's another wife on there, I'm not sure. So, but she used to have her own page, just a regular page on Facebook, but for obvious reasons, she shut it down and went private. But we talked. She even sent me a private message saying, I hope you have a wonderful time. I'm so glad you're getting to see, you know, Alan wrestle and stuff like that. So, and we used to talk on her page. In fact, I am actually friends with Jerry Lynn's wife, and she's helped me a little bit in getting over my fear. I mean, I'm still nervous about the hip replacement. You can't not be nervous, but eased me a little bit on it because she talked to me, she talked to Jerry, explained to him my situation because he had just had his replaced. So thank you to Pam and Jerry Litt. Wonderful people. The very first wrestler I ever spoke to on the computer was on AOL. Stevie Richards had his own message board over there. It was awesome. I got into a big fight with Bob Ryder over there as well on another one. That was ages before he started working for WCW. He was just starting to get in backstage a little bit and as a reporter, you know, wrestling reporter. And who else did I talk to? John Tenta, Earthquake. He had his own message board on WrestleCrap, and WrestleCrap is dedicated to him to this day. Well, he had his own forum on the WrestleCrap message board, and his own message board on the forum. That's better. And so it's dedicated to him to this day. He was a sweetheart. And what else? Now on Twitter, I've talked to Tracy Brooks. I have talked to Francine. I have talked to Frankie Kazarian. Christopher Daniels has private messaged me when I have put messages up on Facebook with him tagged, not Facebook, on Twitter with him tagged in it. I guess it's X now. He also actually replied to a post that I had him tagged in on Instagram. So he's just a sweet person. And the first thing my mother said when she saw him was, there's so much kindness in his eyes. And it was funny because somebody drew a beautiful picture of him that he posted. He said, he captures the kindness in my eyes. I'm like, it's funny because my mother said that. Somebody must have told him he had kindness in his eyes. And I just, that's stuff that I treasure, you know. I treasure the talk I had with Roddy Piper. I treasure the picture that I have of him and meeting Goldberg and my friend meeting Chris Benoit even, and getting me an autographed picture. And Benoit spelled my name right. You know, I still have that picture. It's behind another picture in a frame. You know, I treasure those things. And so, yeah. I think I've shown you guys all my, well, on Punky's World I have. And I will, like I said, link a video of me doing commentary up here. God bless you. Have a wonderful rest of your day. I will see you tomorrow after Royal Rumble. So let's see. Around 4 o'clock, 4 or 5 o'clock. Bye, guys. God bless you. Please subscribe. We're trying to get to 50 by April 9th.